I believe. He was 88 years of age. And what a fantastic, what a huge responsibility that task must be. I don't even want to call it a job. It's more like a calling. It's a task for the head of the Catholic Church. And it's really amazing. If you are young people that have not followed this, I urge you to follow this selection process this week. If you haven't followed his death and burial up till now, this is because if you get a pope that's young enough, a pope may stay in power, for lack of a better term, may stay in the office for many, many years. So you may not see it again for a long time. As a matter of fact, you may have children before this happens again. This pope was in for 12 years, and just apparently a fine man. Of course, obviously never had the privilege of meeting or being with him, obviously. And I'm certainly probably would. I'm not Catholic, but doing great work all over. The Catholic Church always done great work all over the world. And yes, they've had their issues, ups and downs, as every talk to the Southern Baptist. Well, maybe you better not talk to them anyway. We hope that that process goes smoothly. The Cardinals will convene shortly, within a few days, and we'll see the black smoke or the white smoke come out of the stack. That's quite a sight to see, but it always did amaze me. Whoever, and if you watch your newscasters, and I don't know if they're Catholic or not, but you will hear them for whatever, just about whatever, organization they're reporting for. When the white smoke goes up, that's when a pope has been elected. And you'll hear the newscasters, we have a new pope. We have a new pope. I'm not Catholic. I don't know. A lot of people are not, but it's always amazed me that we have a new pope. So so our Catholic friends, we ask you if you can let us borrow him from time to time. We do appreciate it because, I've depended on the Pope's guidance myself. I mean, he's very, most popes speak several different languages. They're very educated men and very wise. And that, of course, I believe is part of the reason for being at the older age they are before they are, placed in that office by so many of their peers. So be thinking about them as we will. Connor's on the board. We're going to get started off here. Excuse me. I've got a kill switch up here, but I never use it, as most of you know. But for right now, my name is Evan Lee Raymer, and yes, I'm still a private investigator. Welcome aboard.
This is the Edwin Lee Raymer Show with your host, Ed Raymer, on your Good Neighbor station, News Radio, WGNS.
And that's a little rock and roll to kick you all off this evening. The Edwin Lee Raymer Show is here, and I am your host, Ed Raymer. And this show is produced at Houston Studios here at WGNS, AM 1450, 100.5, 101.9 FM right here in the heart of the great volunteer state here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. We're right off the courthouse square. You can reach me tonight with your questions, your comments, your ideas, your thoughts at 615 893-1450. That's 615-893-1450. That's even if you're out of state, if you're around the world, wherever you are, whatever time it is in your area. Most of us listen, of course, most of our listeners listen, of course, here locally, here in Rutherford County, and we thank you. But I have much of my family and friends that are in southern Kentucky and around the country as well. You can also send us a text to that number, and Connor will get it. Okay? Now, don't write us an essay. If you have a question, please send it, and he'll be glad to hand it to me, or he'll read it over there for us, whatever. Like I said, I'm going it alone tonight, and Connor's here on the board. But send it to us, and my producer, Connor, will be glad to read it over there. For those of you who do not wish to go on the air, if you don't want to call in and be heard on the air, that's fine. How do you listen to us? You go to Facebook, go to YouTube. Listen live. We're on News Radio, WGNS. Right now, as we speak, I've got the camera pulled back so I'll look a little more attractive. Connor said, "How do you feel about McMinnville?" I said, "That'll be enough, okay? I don't need any more comments." He's a good guy. Don't worry about it. He's right. Yeah, pull back all the way to Smyrna if you want to. But we are here, and I think I can say that. Did you say, Connor? Hopefully they will be breaking ground. Hopefully the end of summer on the new station for WGNS. That's going to be magnificent in itself. We're looking forward to that. And, they're going to start construction. And the bottom line is before they can proceed with a lot of other things, they have to get rid of us, the station here. And I'm not saying that in a negative connotation. We're sort of in the way. So they've got to get us get the station a place to go first. And they're going to start on that at the end of August. And I want you all tonight, good friend of mine, well, a bunch of good friends of mine, Angie Renee and Angela Bingham, on their guest tonight was Mr. Scott Lee. And Scott's been on my broadcast before. And I want you, when Connor gets this pulled up, it may already be on the air on YouTube. I don't know. Is it on? You've done put it on there. If it's on YouTube, stick around for me if you would. But when you get a chance, pull up Simplicity. Okay, I want you to listen to this, man. I was listening on the way in. They had a fantastic broadcast tonight. Angie Bingham and Scott Lee. And Scott's just a wonderful person, coming from a wonderful place in his heart. And of course, the ladies are too. You all know these girls. And, I mean, been around for a while. And Angela hasn't been here as long as me, but she's got a wonderful following, faith-based program. Listen to that. If you get a chance, go on YouTube, or you can pull it up on the WGNS app. You can find us, wgnsradio.com, and all of our broadcasts are there, our podcasts are there. You can pull them up. You can find all of them everywhere. But they did a great job tonight, and I love to give credit where credit's due. They did just a fine job. Great show, Angela, if you're listening. And, you can download the WGNS app and take WGNS with you and listen whenever you want, wherever you go, and take us with you all the way around the country. And, you'll be happy to know that you can reach Angela there as well. But she is on YouTube. We're all on YouTube live now, and you can go and see our beautiful faces and listen. We have a caller already. We have a caller on the line. Caller, go ahead, please.
Hey, Ed, this is Kelly Northcutt. How are you doing tonight?
Kelly, are you in jail again?
Well, you said you'd bail me out if I called, so I'll ask nice. Yeah.
No, I meant Connor would do that. That's not me. I don't have any money. He's the only one getting paid up here. How are you doing?
I'm doing just excellent. Yeah.
Jeff called me earlier. I talked with Jeff Neal earlier. He's one of the supporters of the party and one of the big supporters of this station, and he said you all had a good turnout yesterday.
We did, yeah. It was nice to see him come by. So we chatted for a bit.
Good.
But yeah, we had a really excellent first event. I'm just over the moon. It just went as well as I could have hoped. So I think, due in no small part to the fact that you had us on your show and then rebroadcast that show, and I think that kind of helped a lot of folks, learn about it.
I hope it did. Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah.
I hope so.
We have social media and all kinds of coverage on social media too. So, and then I think Kathy and Liz, kind of papered the square with flyers about it. So we tried to get the word out, and I think it worked. So we had about, I think, 18 organizations that had tables there to kind of let folks know what they do in the community. And
I saw the video on YouTube, and it looked like plenty of organizations were there and doing exactly what you had proposed to do. Mm-hmm. And to bring these organizations together.
Sign-up sheets, and they were full. They were having to get extra pages of sign-up sheets, and we collected food for Nourish Food Bank, and I think that Norm and Hanks walked away with at least 2 of their, tall collection boxes full. So, I feel that people wanted to pitch in and help out other people in the community. And
Norman's a good fellow. Norman's a good fellow. He is.
He's the best. Yeah.
He is. He really is. And, to hear he's involved in that too, that's great. The one thing, Kelly, I want to tell you something, and I want to see if you, and I know you didn't want to talk all night, and I don't want to do that either, but I'm going to tell you. I noticed that your booths, like there was one girl, and she happened to be at that particular time on the video. She's sitting there, and it's with Planned Parenthood.
Mm-hmm.
And she's sitting there all by herself. And I thought, and I went back and I watched it twice, 2 or 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, I said, she's there by herself, and Planned Parenthood is never an important thing until you need it.
Yeah, it's kind of vital.
Yeah, when you go back and think, maybe I ought to stop by that booth that girl was sitting at.
Mm-hmm.
And I find this, I want to say this, and I want to give the Democrats a pat on the back because, and I know that sounds self-serving, but I do want to do this. Is it not true? It seems like the Democrat purposes are for people, when you need them, you need them, but you need to be affiliated with them before you need them. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to do preventative things here to help people along the way. And seems like the Republicans, all they do is, I told you it wouldn't work. I've been telling you all along it wouldn't work. And we are proposing solutions to some of these problems. Well, you can't cure the world's problems. But it seems like the Democrat Party is wanting to be, proactive in a lot of this. And the other party seems like, well, you just wait and see. I'll show you. Show me what?
Yeah, and then once we all see it, then what do you do? Yeah.
Yeah, now you're a genius. I told you that was going to happen. Really, I never heard you say anything about it.
Well, yeah. I think there's we intended this event and this community coalition to be nonpartisan. It's no secret that, I support Democrat causes, but basically we want this to be more of an outreach to the community. And there's a whole lot of people out there that see people hurting or that see things need to be done or addressed or don't like the way certain laws are going.
The status quo, I understand.
Want to do something, yeah. So
right.
We want to be welcoming to people that don't necessarily identify with either party, but identify with the humanity in everyone.
Sure, understood. Yeah. Right.
And the same thing, it's like it goes across partisan lines, it goes across religious lines. It really is just about helping in the community and doing what you can to advance causes that help everybody.
Sure. Yeah. And that's true. So how many causes did you have? How many booths did you have, or how many different? Everybody may not have a booth, but what causes were represented yesterday, roughly?
I think we had about 18 different tables, and then we had one table that just had information for organizations that were interested, but for one reason or another couldn't show up with volunteers to have a table. There were so many events this past weekend, and luckily the weather was beautiful. It just turned so nice on Saturday, and that was that was just such a stroke of luck. But so there were a lot of competing events, Earth Day and Pioneer Days and Jazz Fest. So some orgs were spread pretty thin as far as people to volunteer at tables. So we had another table that was just for information for people that wouldn't be able to have a table. But we had 18 organizations that had volunteers and tables there, and they all had, they all have different things that they're doing. There was everything from, Nourish Food Bank was there, Tennessee Renters United, they were one of our sponsors, Rutherford County Library Alliance, Tennessee Community Gardens, Murfreesboro Community Gardens. They shared a table, and they were very popular. They were giving away free plants, tomato plants and pepper plants, and
Really?
beautiful, philodendron. Yes, I don't think I saw anybody that walked away without one.
Great day.
They
Okay.
just kept bringing more tomato plants in. So it was very much I don't know. It's like, I don't know how you can not be happy when you walk away with a free plant. That just makes my day.
Like the little girl said that time, one of these teenage girls, I bought a plant. And I said, well, that's great. She said, what's it do? I said, well, if you'll just water it, that'd be the first start. Give it a drink of water every other day. How about that?
Exactly.
That's what it does, and you'll see it grow. They
have plans for teaching people how to start their own community garden, and it's like a free, workshop where they'll tell you how to find volunteers and how to find a spot, and it's like people are going to need help. The economy is not real great; it's a little dicey. There's more and more people that are in need, and to just inspire people to find a way to start a community garden. I just think that's just a brilliant way to help people and let people that don't have a lot of time help other people,
Oh,
it was wonderful.
I get so tired, and in the winter time, of course, as we all know, you don't have the best of tomatoes, for example.
Oh my goodness!
Okay,
those
and
pale pink things that they pass off.
And you
tomatoes.
open them up, and if you go get a sandwich at a restaurant, bless their heart, doing the best they can too, and you look at the tomato, you take the bun off, and that tomato's got a white core as big as a golf ball in it. Give me a good homegrown, give me a good homegrown tomato.
Oh, it's just the best. It's like sunshine in your mouth.
I know. Pettis Reed, one of our county commissioners, he posted a picture one night. It was a rainy evening. It was like a couple years ago, I don't know, in March or April or something. And it was a rainy evening, and he was sitting there, and he had his plant book out. He's getting ready to look at tomato plants. And I said, man,
oh yeah,
the man's making me want a BLT right now,
That's the best
And of
part.
course, when most of you, let me say this now, Kelly, because I think but some people don't. I am a private investigator. When you're out of town this summer, if you have a garden, let me know if you have tomato plants, and I'll be glad to watch those while you're gone. Okay?
That's really kind of you.
I do it every year, and
pick
it's
up and take a bite. Yeah.
Yeah, it's no problem. And Pettis Reed told me one time on Facebook, he said, Raymer, if I know you, you'll be having tomato sandwiches for weeks after you. So. That is true, but I mean, I don't charge money for my services, okay?
You scratch my back, I scratch yours. You keep an eye on them, and take a tax. It's a tomato tax.
Well, Kelly, it's a great thing. Thank you for calling. We love you to death. Thank you so much. And
I want to thank everybody that came out, all the organizations, sponsors, and all the tables. It's like. And the people that came out to see what it was about and sign up to help these different organizations or sign up for protests or, to help feed people. It's just, it really buoyed my spirits, and it made me feel the most hopeful I have felt since last November.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm just very thankful. And this is just the first of whatever we decide to do with this, but we're going to keep this coalition, this community alive, and I'm just thankful for the folks that were a part of this first one, and can't wait to see other folks as we grow and build on it.
Well, and to keep it going, and I promise you, and you know this, I will do what I can, and we're here. I'm here at your disposal anytime. All you have to do is pick up the phone. You know that, and.
I appreciate that, Ed, truly.
No, I'm glad to be able to do it, and I'm happy to do it, because there's so much, and what you're doing, like you said, was not necessarily a party thing. It's to bring some people together, and there are good causes that people have that may not totally agree with us, but if you look down the road, you never know. You might need that service somewhere down the road. Okay?
Well, I think it's possible to find the humanity in somebody, even if you're diametrically opposed.
Sure.
And in that humanity, we all sometimes have needs.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think
Goodness
that's
gracious.
kind of
Oh,
the
sure.
direction that we want to take to try to meet the needs of our community without a litmus test of what you believe in or who you vote for. Just bring some love and light and humanity to the world.
Yeah, just come in and do it out of the goodness of your heart instead of, well, now sign here and we'll need your name, address, and phone number, all that. We don't,
Exactly.
just come in and be part of this thing and, help us out because, and in the long run, help yourself because, I'm telling you, and just like they were giving away free tomato plants. Why didn't you tell me, Kelly? You never tell me about the good stuff.
It was a surprise. I had no idea. And then
Oh,
it's like
sure.
they brought in a couple trays of flats, and it's like, oh, that's really nice. I haven't bought tomatoes yet, but it's like I waited because it's like, well, those are, for people that are attending. And then they ran out and they just kept bringing in more and more. And it's like, well, I guess they got plenty. So I got a tomato plant.
Yeah. How many did you? Okay, yeah, sure, Northcutt. You got your bundle. Where's Raymer's? Nothing.
I'm only in it for the tomato plants. That was my sole purpose.
You owe me a BLT. And I'm talking with a big slab of tomato. Next time you're up here, you're going to bring me one, okay?
Well, I promise I'll let you know, first tomato of the season. Well, okay, I get the first tomato of the season. I'll give you the second tomato of the season.
Man, you sound like Angela Bingham up here. She's got food for Connor up here for days. I've never had as much as a biscuit out of that woman.
Well, we'll have to talk, yeah.
Kelly, anything else?
No, that's everything. But, yeah, we're just going to keep going. So to let everybody know to keep an eye on our social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm not sure what else, TikTok, I think.
Tell them what your organization is one more time, please.
Rutherford County Community Coalition.
Rutherford County Community Coalition.
Yep.
Okay.
Just here to bring people together and try to do good.
This is a good thing. Kelly Northcutt. Kelly, thank you so much. We appreciate what you do and what you're doing for the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Connor.
Have a good night. Bye-bye. Kelly Northcutt, Rutherford County Community Coalition, and they're here to help you. I'm telling you right now, doing a great job. Okay, we've got another caller on the line right now. I'll tell you what, while we're talking, I'm gonna go ahead and take this. Probably, I have a feeling this is for us. Hang on, is this for us? It is. Who's on the line, please? If I could have you.
Mr. Raymer, how you doing?
Is this Jeff Neal?
Yes, it is. How you doing?
Kelly Northcutt was just throwing your name around.
Wait, we don't need that now. I'll be in.
Should I go? You want me to go swear out? You want me to go swear out a warrant?
I'll be in jail with her and hire you. Help us out. I'll be in jail another hour. You can come help out. I can do that. But what I don't want to tell you that, like you said, there's nothing like a homegrown tomato. I'll take it and get a BLT or tomato sandwich. How about that?
No, I'm telling you, tomato sandwich. I invented that sandwich. I did that back in the 60s.
Where's the? You got to get the copyright. Those you get no.
Well, I never got that far into it. I just invented it for the goodness of man.
Well, that's true. No, I got a friend of mine, a college friend of mine. Her dad said guards for years. She told me years ago he knows when to play. He's done this for years, and he knows when to play and do all this stuff. So he's
Hey, I'm going to tell you there is nothing better on a good hot summer day after you come in than a good cold glass of ice water or a cold glass of sweet tea. Of course, you're in the South. We drink our sweet tea.
Oh, cool.
But I got to where I couldn't drink. It's so sweet. I'm some of the sugar. But there's nothing better than a cold glass of sweet tea or a cold glass of milk. I love chocolate milk and a good BLT. And I'm talking about a good one now.
No question about that now. There's no question.
I'm telling you. It's one of the best sandwiches there is. Or, I'll tell you what, I'll take a club sandwich if it's got a good tomato on it,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm telling you.
There's nothing like us in the summertime.
Jeff, you went over to Kelly and them's event over there. If you can tell me about that, they had pretty good turnout over there.
And a lot of different organizations. They had one about rental organization. It was about high rents and stuff. They had one like that. They had Planned Parenthood. There was different ones, and just chance people to get connected with what they wanted to do. So I mean, there was like I said, there was all kind of things. Like she said, there was Pioneer Days in Hansburg. I mean, our Earth Day was on the square, and they had of course the Jazz Fest. They moved that inside was the weather. They moved it inside over at one of the middle schools over there. And then you had the barbecue festival out at Hot Springs that was going on at the same time. So
Right.
There was like 5 different things going on this weekend. There was so many people, different things, and they probably didn't have the crowd. They had a good crowd, but there was just so much going on. So much going on in different places in town.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, Jeff, and I was talking to Kelly, and I was going to say this. Anymore here in Middle Tennessee, and even all across the country, there are a lot of things going on. I mean, next Saturday we've got the Kentucky Derby,
When you got time, this is time of year, because I went out there at Osprey for I've been out there, and I noticed that in the first week of June, the first weekend of Saturday, they would have a banana pudding festival out there.
Oh, man.
At the Hot Springs, so they got different stuff. But each time where all the festivals go on, I mean, Cinderella has a big one every year. Banana pudding fest, something they do every year. But it's just
Well, alone here in Middle Tennessee, right here in Murfreesboro, on the square every Saturday, you have the farmers market.
Yeah, that's going to be starting in a couple of weeks. It'll be.
Yeah, and then out at where is it out there? Out 96, where we have
the Lane Agri Park.
the Lane Agri Park, and that's a good one. My wife has been there a time or two.
They're having something in the middle of May. I was reading this weekend. They were having it's something I think they did last year, but Cheesecake Festival. You go out there, get you a Cheesecake Festival.
That's what I need to get in on right there.
First so many people get a free thing of cheesecake, a little goodie bag. So, but now what you were talking about, I was going to tell you were mentioned we were talking about earlier, and
Right.
CNN had a special night. They're going to air it later on tonight. I think maybe tomorrow it's called 100 Days of Trump. He's talking about Trump. He's going to talk about that a little bit.
Right, that will be here Wednesday, I think. Yeah.
And I did notice too that in Manchester, a guy he has a Trump store. Do you know that?
I did not know that. No.
It's called it's got everything Trump in there now. You want everything Trump? Go over and get you. It's called the Trump store in Manchester. Get you everything you want with Trump's name on it. You get you hooked up. Everything you and his son now has come out. They've got they're doing it online, which I don't think he's going to be able to do it. He wants to. It has hats with Trump 2028 on it.
Okay, yeah.
You want to run a third term,
that's what we need.
Other
Yeah.
stuff. But when I was you talking about the polls and stuff, but now all these tariffs and stuff he's doing is really it's really hurting the economy. And I don't think it really matters. But the thing I don't like is he wanted when he made a mistake like that guy he deported that was supposed to come back and he had that El Salvadoran president up there. He said he wasn't going to help him bring him back, and they've had all these different court orders and different stuff to try to bring the guy back and all that. It's just it's a lot of mess. But also I could tell you some. I won't get into it, but the state legislature did some stuff this week too, and also I'm sure you saw where the Kentucky Wildcats did something for to change college athletics. So if you saw about that, see what they've done.
What did they do? Please tell me real quick.
They're going to be an LLC, which means they want to be self-sufficient.
Oh, great. Come on, man. My Kentucky Wildcats are going to do that?
Their athletic department.
Oh, come on, man.
Their athletic department's one of the first in the country. But that's I mean, there's so much stuff. We get here till midnight, so I don't want to get into it.
Well, I did want to ask you this. I noticed it was in, I forget, I read so much stuff or hear so much stuff. The county school board, and I don't know if you reported on this or not, but they voted to stop if your child, do you know what the numbers are if they're fifth grade, K-5 or whatever?
Kindergarten to fifth grade starts next school year. If
Right.
you're kindergarten to fifth grade and you live a mile or less from the school, you have to either walk to school or get away to school, like your parents or whatever. Get somebody to take you back.
In other words, you're on your own.
But you can't ride a school bus. And then if you're 6 to 12, you have to be a mile and a half or less from the school.
Well, they're living up to their motto. You're on your own.
Parent. I can't remember parent zones. I forget what the name. There's three. I can't remember what they call it. It'll start next school year. Of course, I told you about the strike too. They're thinking about going on strike. They want a 35% increase, and the school board's offering 17. So.
Well, I did notice one of the bus drivers, one of the organizations that apparently a company that owns a bunch of buses in the county, and I'm not going to say the name because I might get it wrong, and I don't want to do that. But they are still going to go by their old policy. They're going to pick up kids no matter what.
Well, yeah. Some of them have said that they're not going to go on strike. They don't think it's the right thing to do.
Well, and even the new policy of children being within a mile of home, they said, forget it. We're going to pick them up anyway.
Yeah, well, I think that's good. I think they should do that.
Yeah, I think they said they were going to do that anyway, and I believe that was on Facebook, but I'll stand corrected if that's the case.
Yeah.
And, I'd like to talk to that organization's owner or leader or whoever it may be. Yeah. I'd love to do that because I appreciate them taking a stand on that.
Oh yeah, they do that. Some of them are not gonna. And see, the thing about it is like somebody told me Saturday that the county, the bus drivers own their own buses, and their
Sure.
biggest cause, of course, the fuel they had, but their biggest cause is insurance on the buses.
Right.
And the insurance and things of this nature.
Sure.
And stuff, but everything. But now there's just so much. News, like you said, politics is all open, boy. It's heated up right now. It's hotter than.
Oh, I mean, our Rutherford County School Board is a classic example. They're banning books left and right. I'm surprised they don't have just a fire out front with a flamethrower and start burning them.
Well, that's why the ACLU's taking the court. So we'll see what that entails.
Well, they don't care because the insurance companies or the bonding companies are going to pay the fees anyway, so they don't care.
Well, that's true. It's like I told that guy that when they lost that first one. I said, who you think pays that insurance? It ain't the school board.
Well, but you will finally get to a point, and I was afraid we were going to get to that point with this former sheriff we had, not Sheriff Fitzhugh now for sure, but the one before him.
Arnold,
that they were just, there were lawyers in town that were just, well, come in. Oh, you got fired at the sheriff's office? Here's a form. Just fill it out, and they send it over. And how much money do you need? And they'd cut the people a check. It got to be ridiculous. Almost.
I agree, yeah.
Me or you could have represented some of these people, and said, no, we could, and said, hey, this guy here, Bill Jones here, got fired from the sheriff's department wrongfully, and okay, I'm sure he did. How much does he want? And you could have settled it out of court and said, we'll cut him a check. Well, probably the insurance company may have paid those bills. I don't know that for a fact. I'll stand corrected on that. But, here's the thing. You finally get to a point where the insurance companies, the bond companies, the people who write those bonds will say, Rutherford County, no, thank you. We don't want anything to do with it.
They're not going to all these. That's two lawsuits. They're just not going to. They're not going to. They're not going to do it much longer.
They're not driving down the road just throwing that fistfuls of $100 bills just a fistful at a time. They're going to get tired of that after a while.
And you got that. It's a lot of money, and the thing about it is when you do that, then your bond rate is going to go down, and you won't be able to, like you say, you won't be able to borrow money if you really need it. But now they call it the parent responsibility zone. So parents have to do it now.
In other words, you're on your own. Well, they're living up to the.
That's pretty much. And I one final thing, Greg, like I told you, if the strike, if they do go on strike, it's not going to be bad now. If it's long and extends into the next school year.
When the kids go back to school,
It'll be a nightmare. It'll be a nightmare.
Oh, it will be, and it will be for the parents. It is for the parents.
True.
Exactly.
Well,
Jeff,
have a
thank
great
you.
week. I enjoy your show. Thank you.
Thank you for your support, and thank you, Jeff Neal, for your support and your support of this broadcast and this station. Thank you very much. Connor has me another call. Caller, you're on the air live. Go ahead, please.
Hi, Mr. Raymer. This is Laura Hordert. I wanted to call in just to let you know and the public know that my daughter and I have created an organization called Demonstrate for Democracy.
Okay.
And this week we are planning a demonstration outside of Scott Desjardins' office on Medical Center Parkway where our goal is to read the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Federalist Papers. We want to go for 25 hours, kind of as a shout-out to Cory Booker for what he did on the Senate floor a few weeks ago, and just remind our representatives that they're supposed to be representing us and the Constitution and not a political party.
Yeah, that would be a good idea, Laura. That would be you're Laura. Give me your last name, Laura, please.
Hortert.
Horder.
Hortert.
I'm sorry, Horder. Horter. Horder.
T.
Okay.
Hortert. Yes.
Gotcha. Thank you so much. And who brought? Did you just decide to do this, or is this something you're doing with a group of people, or?
So it was a conversation. Kelly Northcutt, actually, she was just on with you earlier tonight.
Yes.
She and my daughter and I were going to the protest in Nashville a few weeks ago, and we started talking about ways that we could get more active. We've been calling our representatives and have received nothing really back from them, like no return phone calls, no anything. It's just like shouting into the void. And so we decided that we wanted to do something to try to draw their attention,
right,
to what is important to us, and that is the Constitution, right? Our country was founded on that, and we believe in the rule of law, and we believe in the Constitution. And we believe that they should be defending the Constitution, which is not the actions we've seen.
Well, and that's true with all of that bunch of Republicans that are not standing up saying, now, I don't know, you sound like a young lady, much younger than me.
I love you.
No,
Thank you.
Okay, but I mean, I remember when President Nixon had gotten so far out of line, and I don't know if you are old, I'm sure you're not old enough to remember this, but I was speaking to a friend about this just yesterday, and one of the leaders in the Senate, Senator Barry Goldwater, who was no one's fuzzy-headed liberal by any stretch of the imagination.
Not at all.
Not at all. And he got together with a group of the senators and said, fellas, I'm sorry, but this president has to go. And they marched right up to the White House and walked right into the Oval Office, as I understand it, and said, Mr. President, you don't have the votes, and furthermore, it's time to go, bud. When are we going to see that with our elected officials? Congressman,
that is a great question.
I mean, when are we going to say, okay, it's been fun and the ride has been great, but, we're low on gas and that's enough. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there's enough for them or not.
Yeah, I thought it would happen after January 6th. I thought they would be done with it, but obviously that didn't happen. And now here we are with blatant violations of the Constitution, the lack of due process for many, many people, including our own citizens that are now being deported.
Oh, Lord, yes, yes. And here's the thing. I had one. I'm glad you called in, Laura. And by the way, while I'm thinking, give me your date for your demonstration. When are you going to do this?
May 1st. It's actually Law Day.
Okay.
And
May
we're
1st.
planning on starting at 7 a.m.
Start at 7 a.m. Okay.
Yes. And going all day.
I'm sure Congressman Desjardins will be there with coffee and donuts for all of you. Yeah, I'm sure he will.
Well,
sure.
He would absolutely be welcome.
Well, you can forget it. I've had many events that I've been at, and he's been invited front and center, and he's never showed up at one. I guess if we were going to give him a suitcase full of money, he'd show up for that one. But what I wanted to get to you about, some of these law firms are backing down from Trump. I mean, they're giving in to him. Now, this does not tie into what you're doing exactly, but in a way it does. Because you had a judge arrested Friday after ICE picked up a man from her courtroom. And they picked him up and took him into custody, and she was arrested. Okay?
Right.
Released from her courtroom. And, of course, she was released on bond, obviously, on her own recognizance. How bad is this going to get before the people say, okay, that's enough? Is it going to have to affect all of them? And if it affects them, are they still going, will they go through the gates of hell? Then I always said they'd march right to the gates of hell with him. I say they'll go right through the gates of hell and walk right into hell with him.
I have often asked that very question, and I honestly don't know what it's going to take. First of all, we need to teach civics again in school.
True.
Because
right.
I am amazed at the number of people who believe that if you're in this country, whether legally here or illegally here, you are entitled to due process, and there are so many people who don't believe that.
Right, you are entitled to...
Due process is only for citizens, which is not true.
You are entitled to some form of protection, for goodness sake.
Correct.
Just basic protection. But, I'm glad you brought this up. Thank you for calling, Laura, because I want to tell you, I spoke with a fellow earlier this week. I speak to people all week long. And he said, Tony told me this, and I won't give his last name. I don't want to protect his anonymity. But we were talking on the phone. He's a friend. We're friends on Facebook and what have you. And he said, Ed, I'm going to tell you where I think a big problem starts in this country. And he doesn't agree with me politically on everything I post, because I'm a little wild and woolly at times anyway. But, yeah, I guess you know that. But anyway.
Yes.
Okay, that's the reason you're calling me. Okay. But he said, I think a big problem we've got is there's a lack of education.
Yes.
And, this has been a problem with many of our teachers out here. They start about half the year teaching the kids to get ready to pass a test. The TCAP, okay?
Well, I can't blame the teachers. The teachers are...
I know.
They do, they do what they're...
They do what they're mandated to do. I understand that.
Exactly.
But they're teaching children. And I've had teachers in private, Ed, we're teaching these kids just to pass this basic, simple test. We're not really teaching anymore,
Yeah.
And that's off the record, of course, okay? But we've all known this for many years now. And it's not only here in Tennessee, it's all over the place, So you're right. Civics would be a good place to start, So how many people are involved in this, Laura? How are you going to do this with Desjardins? What you're going to start this at 7 a.m., May the 1st.
Correct. And we are taking volunteers. If anyone wants to join us, they're welcome to do so. We actually have a Facebook group. It is, it's the Facebook/Demonstrate Democracy. And they can find us there. There's a link there to sign up if they're interested. And we're just going to I'll be filling in when we don't have anyone else that's willing to, or my daughter will be filling in when we don't have anybody else that's there. So
Demonstrate.
Even if you don't want to read, you can just come and participate or, cheer us on.
Demonstrate Democracy.
Correct.
And this will be at Desjardins' office at Medical Center Parkway. Now, which building is he in?
He's actually in 1500 Medical Center Parkway. However,
okay.
I don't know that we'd actually be able to set up on that property because it's private property. So we may be on the street there.
Okay.
Set up.
Okay. 1500 Medical Center Parkway. And that will all be taken care of, I'm sure. And, I want to wish you luck. I want to thank you. Kelly I guess you're familiar with you. Obviously, you're familiar with Kelly. You know Kelly.
Oh, Kelly and I go way back. We go back to theater. We did
well,
theater together back in the day.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. But anyway, I can't do anything about that. I didn't know you back then. But, yeah, she called in earlier. I said, are you in jail again? Because...
Look, I've already warned my husband that I'm probably going to be arrested before all of this is over.
Bless his heart. I'll tell you, if my wife and I were younger, we have 2 children, of course. Our kids, of course, are grown now and graduated and been through college and all that, thank goodness, and we're very fortunate. But if my wife was younger, I'll tell you what, she'd probably be right out there with you, in a way, because my wife, believe it or not, as sweet a lady as she is, she can have a big mouth too. When some of these elected officials, don't do what they're supposed to do,
Yeah, sometimes you just have to, You got to create some good trouble, right?
Well, I'll tell you this, to give you some confidence. We went by, I don't know if you remember me with Desjardins' office when it was here on Main Street.
Yes.
Okay. It was right next to a law firm, Parkinson Santel.
Correct.
Tommy Parkinson, Thomas Santel, good friends of mine. I don't know if you've had a good experience with them or not, but they're good guys. They've always been good to me, and they're people. And we had to get something notarized. Now, I'm a notary myself, but I can't notarize my own stuff, okay, for my own family.
Yes.
So
Correct.
we went by there, parked the car. I said, I want to tell you something. I've been to this office 3 or 4 times. And I said, because they were right across the entryway from where Desjardins' congressional office was. Okay? Mm-hmm. I said, I'll bet you $5 there's no one in Desjardins' office. Okay? I'll bet you the lights are on. And sure enough, went in, door locked, lights on, not even a sign on the door. And there was no one there. And that was 4 or 5 times within a couple of years I had been there. Okay? Is anyone staying at these offices at all? And who pays the rent? And who owns the office? And where's the money going?
Well, I do have to say that every time I've called Scott Desjardins' office, someone has answered the phone.
That's in Washington? Is that Washington?
Locally. I've called locally and the D.C. office.
Really?
Yes.
I'm
but
surprised.
When I call Marsha Blackburn's office, I rarely get a live person.
Okay, I'll stand corrected on Mr. Desjardins. I owe you an apology, sir. I'll do it right now. I apologize. I did not know. Because before, and by the way, of course.
They don't have the phones forwarded to like a cell phone or something.
That's true. They may very well have that. That's true. But the last time, the 4 or 5 times I was by there, not a soul was there. Not a sign on the door, out to lunch, back in 5 minutes, none of that. I mean, there's never been anyone there. And the door is locked, but the lights were on, And I said, this is going on. I don't know how long this can go on,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Laura, thank you. Anything else? This is May the 1st.
May the 1st.
And what are you going to be doing now? What will you be reading, or what will happen here?
We're going to read the Declaration of Independence.
Okay.
As a reminder that some of the things that the people complained about when we declared our independence from England are some of the same things that's going on right now. We're going to read the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, where it talks about due process, the separation of powers, and then we're going to start in on the Federalist Papers. I think we're going to end with the oath that our representatives have taken to defend the Constitution.
Right.
And, that's what we're going to do.
If you'd like, I'll be glad to come out and sing for you. If if you'd like that.
Look, the floor would be yours. You will stand and cheer. You'll get a standing ovation.
I don't think, if you want to drive the crowd away, I don't think you want to do that. I mean, unless it's something from Motley Crue or whatever, back in the day, that would do it, but not now. Okay. Laura, thank you so much. I appreciate you calling.
Thank you for your time.
No, thank you. Good night, hon. Thank you.
Good night.
Okay. I'll tell you what, we've had some good calls. Thank you, callers. I appreciate all of you. Connor, if you would, go ahead and run our ads, if you would. We're going to go to a break right now. Thank you all, callers. Great show. Appreciate it. I needed some help tonight. Goodness knows I got it. Thank you so much. You've always given me everything I ask for. We're going to be back right after this. Stay with us. Hello, everyone. It's Ed with Private Investigations in Middle Tennessee. If you just need someone checked out on a background check, tag them a run, or if you need someone full-fledged to follow, give us a call. You can reach me at 615-390-7219. That's 615-390-7219, or check out our website at piofmt.com. That's piofmt.com.
I felt so alone, scared, angry, full of self-pity. I just wanted to die, so I took another drink. Then I heard about AA and went to my first meeting. The people there talked about those same feelings. I was no longer alone. They gave me help to stop drinking and hope to start living. Alcoholics Anonymous, it works. Look us up. Check your phone book, newspaper, or aa.org.
Go to J. Mullins Jewelers and check out their collection of reactor watches. They're located at 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And also custom-made jewelry. If you want it, they can make it for you. Also gifts for any and all occasions. Weddings, graduations, family reunions, anniversaries, all of it. That's J. Mullins Jewelers, 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Okay. All right. There you go. Turn it off. We're going to try and do, we're getting another caller right now. Hold on. And Ed Raymer here with the Evan Lee Raymer Show, if you wonder. I'm sorry. We're going through a couple of things here. There you are, Connor. And we have a caller for me. Okay, caller, you're on the air live. Go ahead.
Me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, yeah. This is Arnold White. I called in a couple of weeks ago.
Hey, AJ, how are you doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
I just wanted to say I was at that thing yesterday.
Yes.
And I saw Kelly, and I also spoke with I'm bad with names. Anyway, I just wanted to say there's hope out there, and
there is. Yeah,
we're going to come out of this just fine. It may take a little bit of doing. Have you heard about the controversy about what Trump wore to the funeral?
I saw it, and I heard about it. Yeah, they had asked everyone, all the men, to wear a black suit, a dark suit, black suit.
Yeah.
I'd heard that they had asked them politely to wear a black suit and black tie, and, of course, white shirt. And, of course, he wore his blue and red tie and all that. Yeah, I had, and I think it's very disrespectful. I mean, you can break your dress code for just one day.
Yeah.
Well,
you're right. He was just trying to draw attention.
Sure.
Again, to himself.
Sure.
And, you can't say why Trump does what he does, but you definitely can talk about what he's doing, and it's not good at all.
No, it's not unsurprising. And, AJ, something that gets me, and I know you don't want to be a controversial person.
Yes.
I know that. I know you're a very religious person. You're a spiritual person. Well, I've always felt that. I may be wrong.
No.
No,
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah,
but,
I've had some interesting experiences.
Yeah, but I notice in the poll, and Connor has a poll pulled up, and this is on the Pew Research poll, Trump down 19 points.
Oh, yeah.
One of the economists, YouGov poll, down 13 points. Reuters, Ipsos, down 11 points. Fox News, also down 11 points.
Yeah.
I mean, and the list goes on and on. But I wonder, Arnold, if you went back to these people and said, okay, he's down all those numbers, right? Oh, yeah, he's down. He's in trouble. Would you vote for him again? Oh, yeah. I think the people would. What do you think? May I ask you what you think?
I would hope they would not, and
Yeah.
I would predict that enough of them would not vote for him again.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that it would make a difference.
Right.
But we got here in strange ways, but we're going to get out of it by loving each other.
True. I think you're right. And mutual respect for one another as well.
Yeah, that's love.
Yeah. And, but another thing, we've got people that, and I was guilty of this when I was in my late 20s and early 30s, okay? What this country needs is a good businessman. Well, that is true at times. But I think what we've all learned is you must have a person, a man or woman in there that knows their way around Washington as well.
Yes.
I mean, that's an intricate place to try and navigate, I'm sure. I can only guess. I've never even been to the city. My wife and the kids have, but I have not.
I've been there once or twice.
Yeah, but I know it's bound to be a nightmare trying to get a bill passed. Just a simple bill. It makes a lot of sense. And by the time you throw all the amendments on it, it's never even the same thing it was when it started out.
That's
so,
true.
AJ, thank you so much, and thank you for being a friend of this show. I appreciate it. I appreciate you listening, and thank you for calling. I appreciate it. We're about out of time.
All right. Thank you. You have a good evening.
Thank you so much. Same to you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Arnold J. White, friend of this broadcast, good friend. Connor, how are we on time? We about out? I think
1 minute.
1 minute. Play us out and play some music or some news or whatever, folks. Thank you all so much. Good calls tonight. Good pieces of opinion. Thank you so much. Connor, thank you. Great job on the board. And I'll tell you what, till next Sunday night at 8 o'clock, Edwin Lee Raymer Show. Until then, I'll catch you down the road. Good night, everybody. Have a good week.